Good evening, wonderful, amazing, fantastic geometry students. This is Miss Youngblood here. Just stopping by to say hi, see how you're doing. I hope that during this school closure time you are being productive, you are being safe, and you are staying healthy. If you have any questions about what resources are available in the community or through the school, feel free to reach out to me or any of your other teachers and we can point you in the right direction. And also, of course, if you have questions about your grade or any of the math assignments that I assign over the school closure period, make sure you're reaching out to get those questions answered as well. So I do want to go through a few problems with you on today's assignment for March 16th, specifically starting with the packet that I gave. So the first assignment was titled Area of Quadrilaterals and Triangles. So we're going to review a few of those problems just to make sure you remember how to do them and so that we don't have any issues with those particular problems. So the first four problems are rectangles and parallelograms. So the formula to find the area of a rectangle or a parallelogram is base times height. So for the first problem, number one, we see we have a special kind of rectangle called a square where all the sides are the same. So to find the area of this square, we are going to do the base, 7.5, times the height, 7.5. Notice the base and the height make a right angle. In every type of shape we're going to review over the course of this video, whatever two sides are making a right angle, you can think of as the base and the height. So we have one base of 7.5 times the height of 7.5. In my calculator, when I did 7.5 times 7.5, that got me 56.25, I believe. Yes. So the final answer for number one is simply 56.25. Number three is a different kind of quadrilateral. It is a parallelogram. You could think of this as a tilted rectangle. So the area actually remains the same. The formula for the area remains the same, excuse me. So again, we're just going to multiply the two sides that make the right angle. That's going to be 10 and 4.1. So 10 times 4.1 gets us 41. So the area for number three is simply 41. The next problem that we're going to take a look at is number 6. Sorry if you can't see it. Number 6. So this shape has three sides. It's actually not a quadrilateral. It is a triangle because it has three sides. The area formula for a triangle is actually going to be half the area formula for the rectangle. Because we know that we can obtain triangles by cutting rectangles or parallelograms in half. So the formula is going to be base times height divided by 2. So again, as I said in the previous problems, whatever two sides are making a right angle, those are going to be your base and height. So for this particular problem, we have 4 and 3.4. So I just plugged it into the formula here. 4 times 3.4 divided by 2 is our area. In my calculator, 4 times 3.4 got me 13.2. Then I simply did 13 divided by 2 and got 6.8. So our area for problem 6 is going to be 6.8. Excuse me. And the last problem that I'm going to be reviewing on the packet of work that I gave for those who did not want to do Khan Academy is finding the area of a trapezoid. So keep in mind a trapezoid is also a quadrilateral, meaning it has four sides. It has two parallel sides and two non-parallel sides. The two parallel sides are called the base. So we're going to use the lengths of those two parallel sides as the bases in the formula. So the formula is the height times the base plus base divided by 2. So you can think of it as kind of having like two triangles or a triangle and a rectangle kind of combined, which is pretty much what a quadrilateral, or I'm sorry, a trapezoid is. So again, our height is perpendicular to both bases. So in this particular problem, our height is going to be 4.2 because again, this line is perpendicular to this base and this base. And as I just said, these are your two bases, the 5 and the 2.2. So those go in for B1 and B2 for the formula. So we have the height, 4.2, times base 1, 2.2, plus base 2, which happens to be 5. These could have been switched. Don't stress too much about that. You're just adding the two bases. So our next step is to make sure we're keeping order of operations in mind. So you want to start by simplifying the parentheses. 2.2 plus 5 gets us 7.2. And then it doesn't really matter how you go from here, but I normally like to work from top to bottom when it's possible. So I did 4.2 times 7.2 to get 30.64. I believe that's what that says. It's backwards to me. Nope. 30.24. So we got 30.24 divided by 2. And that final answer in our calculator got us 15.12. Yes. So the final area for problem number 10 is 15.12. So that concludes the portion of the video that is about the packet that I gave out. Now I'm going to look at some Khan Academy problems that I assigned you guys. So I believe that you were assigned 2 sets for Monday. We'll see as we go through them. I already have the first problem for the first set, which is finding area by counting unit squares. So you're still reviewing area, but we're actually doing it a more conceptual way. So you can actually see like where the area is coming from. So in this first problem in my set, it says each square in the grid is a 1 by 1 unit square. So all we're doing is counting how many squares are outlined in this grid. So we see we have, let me see my finger, right here. So we see we have 3, 3, 3. So this section is going to be 9 squares. And then we have one additional square up there. So we're going to have a total of 10 square units. Again, in our next section, all we're doing is counting the squares that we see. So I'm going to show you this section so you guys can try it yourself. Now I'm going to count the squares. So I see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I see a total of 12 squares. So this figure should be 12 square units. Well, in that problem, they also told us that it was 1 centimeter square, so it's 12 square centimeters. The next one they're telling us is 1 by 1 meters. So each square is 1 meter, or 1 square meter. So the area for this shape, I'm going to show you guys so you can see what I'm working with. See if you get the same answer I do. So for this one, it looks like we have 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 2 is 10 again. So this one should be 10 square units. Square meters. We gotta get better with our units, Miss Youngblood too. This one, same kind of question. Oh, that's the same problem. Okay, this one, they ask us to find the area. I'm not sure if the wording might have changed, but during this whole process, we have been finding the area by counting the square units. So we just want to count how many squares are outlined there. So if you count, you should get 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 square centimeters. And that's pretty much how they go. I will let you know if I see one that's a little bit more challenging and might require more work. This shape, did happen to be a little bit more irregular, but it's still the same process, counting the squares that you see. So when I counted this one, I counted 6 squares here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then added those 4 and got 11. So I just wanted to show you that example, but it's still the same process. Okay, so the next set for the Geometry Khan Academy assignment asks you to transition from unit squares to actually using area formulas. So in this first example, they give us this shape, this red rectangle, and they tell us that each of these red squares is 1 unit square. So they ask us, which expression can we use to find the area of the rectangle? So we're going to scroll down and see what options they give us. They give us 3 plus 9, I believe that is. Yeah. And 3 plus 9 isn't going to be enough because we see here we have 3 and we have 9 here, but that doesn't cover the whole rectangle. So 3 plus 9 is not enough. They also have 9 plus 9 plus 9. So let's see where they're getting these 9s from. Maybe each column is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So each of these columns is 9, and there are 3 of them. So we could do 9 plus 9 plus 9. So that second expression actually is one of our answers. I think they want us to choose 2. Oops. And then we have 3 plus 9 plus 3 plus 9. So again, we were looking at these whole columns as 9. So we have 9, 9, but 3 plus 3 only gets us 6, so it wouldn't get us the full 9. So that expression doesn't work. You also have 3 times 9. So that would mean that we are looking at each row, which is 3, and let's see if we have 9 rows of 3. So we have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 threes, 5 threes, 6 threes, or okay, 1 group of 3, 2 threes, 3 threes, 4 threes, 5 threes, 6 threes, 7 threes, 8 threes, 9 threes. But we could have also thought of it as 3 groups of 9. So 1 9, 2 9, 3 9. That is 3 nines. That is where that expression 3 times 9 comes from. So our true answers are going to be B and D. Now we all know that Khan Academy can get slightly disrespectful at sometimes. So they don't even give you all the squares on this one because they want you to get used to using the expression. So we can still figure it out though because we are smart individuals. So we see that in this first row that they didn't finish, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. And then if you want to see how many columns there are, or I'm sorry, columns? Yeah, let's see how many rows there are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 5 in each row, and we have 8 rows. So let's try to see which of these expressions will help us. 5 plus 8 is not going to be enough because we know we either need 8 groups of 5 or 5 groups of 8. So that's not enough. In this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 groups of 5, which is 25. So again, that's not going to be enough. We need 8 groups of 5. That's what this third option is saying. 8 times 5 is 8 groups of 5 or 5 groups of 8. So that third option works. And the last one, we have 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. So again, we only have 2 8s and 2 5s. Not enough, not going to work. So it has to be 8 times 5. Another problem that's very similar to the first, we have 6 unit squares in each row, and we have 4 rows. So we have 4 rows of 6 or 6 columns of 4. So we have 4 groups of 6, yes, or 6 groups of 4, which means the same thing. So that first option works for us. 4 times 6 is exactly what we just said, 6 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 6. The next option is 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. Then we have 2 6s and 2 4s. Not enough, not going to work. Third option, 6 plus 4, definitely not going to work. We have 1 6 and 1 4. We need more. We need more, Khan Academy. And this last one, we have 4 groups of 6. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. So this one is going to be correct. A and D will work for this problem. So again, they give us another one. It's kind of jank where they don't have all the lines filled in, but we can work with it because we're fully capable individuals. So it says that we have 3 in each row. So 1, 2, 3. Now let's figure out how many columns we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 squares in that column. So we're gonna have 10 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 10. So we see that that is going to be option B. 10 times 3, which means we should have, I'm silly, which means we should have 30 square units. I do want to show you this one because the options are getting a little bit trickier. So with this one, we see that we have 5 groups of 7 or 7 groups of 5. So B is a good answer. 5 times 7 or 7 or 5, or C. This is 5 groups of 7, 7 plus 7 plus 7. This one is very close. We do have 7 5s, but they are being multiplied. Remember, when we're thinking of multiplication, we're thinking of repeated addition. Repeated multiplication would be exponents, which we're not doing at the moment. So we need repeated addition. 5 groups of 7 Again, although this is 7 groups of 5, they should be added. So if this would say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, then it would have worked. You cannot have multiplication. And that actually concludes my explanation of the Khan Academy set. If you have any additional questions about the Khan Academy or the packet of work that I gave, please do not hesitate to reach out. Text me, email me, comment on this YouTube video, whatever you need. Just make sure you're getting the help you need. Talk to some of your other classmates who might, have similar questions or who might have mastered it already. Just make sure you're using this time to be productive. Keep your brain fresh as well as get your grades up. And that's all I have for you for this evening. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you and see you soon.